There also could be also 1,000 machines.
Yeah, but we're talking about one machine. That is our overall population, and we're talking about the total item, all the item produced from that one particular machine. So
Yeah,
in a
but you
sense,
don't.
like
You,
Sabah, all the people in Sabah.
no, you don't. But it didn't. There's no confirmation. There's no confirmation. There's only one machine. Right? There might be also 100 machine. They just choose that
Yes,
one machine
correct,
and that for
but
the sample.
it, as you can see, I've highlighted there, we're talking about a machine. That means it's only
It's
one machine.
Yeah, it's one machine out of probably 100. So
But
it's a sample.
it's not stated in the question as what you mentioned just now.
It's there's
Probably.
also
You
there's
said
also,
probably from many machine, but our focus is only
but
on one machine.
but the cattle on 100 farmer. They also didn't mention there might be 1,000 farmer also.
Correct, but we have selected a sample of 100 farmers. That means there's a limit. Whenever it's a sample, we know there is a limit to the number. You get me? A
But
sample, there is a number assigned to it.
yeah,
A
one
population is everything.
isn't one a sample also.
Isn't one a sample? One is a sample also, but we're talking about a smaller population. I could say, like the people staying in your house is a population. All the people in the house is one population. It's very small, but it's still a population. So each person in the house is a sample. You get me? So in question I, it's talking about 100 farmers in Ipoh. Because it is set as 100 farmers in Ipoh, therefore, this is a sample because there is a limit to, not limit, I wouldn't use the word limit. The sample is 100 farmers because there could be more farmers in Ipoh.
Also, there could be more machines.
Yes, but if you look at the sentence in L, we focus on one machine, like one house, that's your population. And in that house, how many people there is your sample. So this machine, one machine, it stated there total items produced. That means all the items produced from that one machine. So that's why it becomes a population.
It says total item produced by one machine. There might be another machine that produce another number of items.
Correct, but it's not stated in the sentence about other machine. It's talking about one machine only. Do you agree now?
I don't know. Because
Well, you can justify. I welcome you to justify your argument.
because it might be just one machine out of 100, so it's just one sample. That is just one
Correct.
sample.
You are
That's just
correct. It,
mine.
as what your words is, it might be more machine. But in this sentence, we're talking about just a machine. Look at the sentence, Calvin. It stated there, a machine.
Yeah, it says a machine. It just says a total. It just wants the number. The total item is just a number.
Correct. But total of all the items from that one machine. We're not talking about other machine.
Yeah, so it's just sample. One machine produce that number of items.
I disagree. It's a
It's like
population. What do you think, Farah?
Uh, I, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay, it's okay because you didn't join the class yesterday, kan? Noel, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Uh, uh, give me uh, population because
Population. Yes,
it's
I would agree population. But if you still say, Calvin, it's a sample, what is your sample value? Because it doesn't state,
the
because a
total.
sample must be taken from the population. So what is your population if you say it's a sample?
There's machines. There's like more machines out of.
Correct. If you say it's a sample, if the question say total, well, still, if the word total is there and it's talking about a machine, it's talking about just one machine. It doesn't talk about many machines.
It talks
And
about one machine making a lot of items.
correct. That's why we're talking about the total. And the word total means all, isn't it? Yes. Think about it. I still stand with the answer as population.
Because just,
Because it's about one
if
machine.
it says two machines, total items produced
Correct.
by two machines, would it be population or sample?
It still be a population because it still be a population because of the word total. So I'm drawing a circle here because I'm talking about just one machine. And everything, total means everything. Total means all. That's why we say it as a population. I hope I did make myself clear about this, Calvin, because I do disagree if you say it's a sample, because I think that is incorrect. Reason because I think it's a population, it's because we're talking about just one machine and it's concerning with total. It doesn't say about some or there exists. Then we can say it's only a sample taken from a population. So if you say this is a sample, what is your population?
Populations is other machines. All the
In
machines.
this sentence, it doesn't say about other machines. It say only a machine.
You can assume there's other machines because it only chooses one machine.
We do not assume in terms of this sentence, Calvin.
Huh? But
How
if
could
it's
you
but
assume?
how could you assume? How could you assume there's more than 100 farmers?
Because it's stated there in Ipoh. Why not?
Yeah,
In
there's also
Ipoh,
why
there's
not?
more than 100 farmers.
It's all one factory also can run more than one machine, ma.
Correct. But in this sentence, it's stated that total. In I,
But
it's
if it says
stated a
but
fixed number of 100, which is just a
so
sample.
so it's so and I
So
if
if I
I say it
say,
says total number of cows owned by 100 farmers in Ipoh, total
if you
number of
say total number of cows,
total number of cattle owned.
then I would say a population.
Like that.
Yeah. Are you vomiting, Calvin?
No. It just doesn't fit my logic.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but
this one question doesn't fit my logic.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. You can ask, I don't know, up to you. You can ask anybody, but I still stand to the, that statement is about one population. That means the machine is one population. Yeah, that's my point of view. But if you disagree, you're welcome to stand to your idea and see how it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Noel, I agree with you. Total individuals in a single house. That means what is your population, Noel?
Oh,
Because
the
from what
whole
you have, yeah, the whole house is your population. And that means this particular statement is a population. But then if you say 2% from a house, then it's a sample. But when you say the word total, the meaning is the same as sum.
because the total items is focus on the items.
Every item is produced by that machine. Okay. Any other thing you want to say, Calvin? Because I cannot accept your answer also, because I still stand with total items produced on a machine during 1 week is focusing on that machine, what it has produced, the total is the population of it. We're talking about a population, not a sample. Because if you say a sample, what is the number of your sample? Kelvin?
Sample, what? Number of sample?
Yeah, because you say L
One.
total items produced on a machine during 1 week. You say it's a sample, right? So what is your sample?
The machine.
You can't say the machine because you must have an amount.
Yeah, one machine produces an amount of items.
Come again?
One machine produces a number of items.
But then the
Just like
sentence
just like
doesn't
just
say
just
the
like one
sentence doesn't say a number of items. It says total.
total
So
total
total.
number of items produced by this one machine.
So what is
only.
your sample?
The machine produce.
Your sample must have an amount.
The items produced by the machine.
But it doesn't say the item produced. It says total items produced. Total items produced.
Total.
Sample for 1 equal 2 items produced on a sample for 2 items produced on a machine during 1 week. I agree with you, Noel. So that would be a sample. Yes.
So on the items, not the
Correct.
machine.
Correct. So if you say you want to say it's a sample, then the sentence must state it there, maybe 10 items produced on a machine during 1 week. So that would be a sample. But in this case, it's stated total items produced on a machine. So we say it is a population.
Nah, it doesn't. Nah.
You
I
still
don't see a difference between I and L.
There is a difference. The I, it's stated there, 100 farmers. So if you look at the chat, which Noel has written, he's talking about just a few items, 2 items. Can it be 20 items produced on a machine during 1 week? Yes, it is a sample because now he's saying 2 items or 20 items or 100 items or 1,000 items. It is still a sample because he has specified the number of items. So it becomes a sample. If you didn't state,
number.
Correct.
But
Because a sample, there is a value. But when the statement stated total, it means all. Like if you say, if you counted, let's say you have red any chickens, yeah, and it has eggs. The total, that means that's the total population of the eggs produced by the chicken. It's a population of the eggs.
If I just remove if I just remove
Correct.
remove total, if I remove total, it just items produced on a machine.
Yes, then it could be a sample, but we don't know what is the number of the sample. And normally a sample would state how many sample you have. You see, when you're doing a research paper later on, the number of sample is very important. Then when you state the number of sample, you know it is a sample because it has been taken from an overall population.
It says a machine means one machine, so it's a
Correct.
number. It's a number.
That means your machine is your population, like Sabah. The state Sabah is only one, but inside Sabah there's so many. Sabah is a big thing, but when we talk about machine, it could be a very heavy duty machine. It may be producing millions of items. So when it says total, it is a population. But when you talk about, okay, when you say comparing with the eye, you say cattle's, farmers,
Cattle owned by a farmer or skin.
yeah, cattle owned by
By
100 farmers.
if
We
said
have
by one
100
farmer.
farmers.
You said one farmer by one farmer only.
A farmer, then it doesn't stay all or total, right? So it can be a sample, but it's missing something. It's missing the number of sample. And normally when we talk about sample, it would be stated what is the value of your n. N is
N can be one, right? Cannot be one.
it can be one. But the thing is, in this case, the population is the machine for question L. Whereas in the question I, your n is 100. It is a sample because it doesn't matter how many farmers. Maybe you think, okay, it's not logical. It couldn't be in Ipoh. It has 100 farmers. But if you really check, there's more than 100 farmers in Ipoh. So basically, it is a sample because once you take, you see, if let's say in Ipoh there are 1,000 farmers, and it so happened that you have a lot extra money, and you take 999 as your n, it is still considered as a sample because you have specified that you have taken only 999. Doesn't matter.
Specify only one also correct, ma.
Correct. You can say n is equal to 1. But the thing is, in L, in this question L, oops, we're talking about our population is the one machine. And what is produced from the machine is the item. Kan? But the item, it doesn't say just a number. If it doesn't say 50 items or 100 items. If it says, if in that question it says 100 items, then we know it's a sample, clear cut. But do you see the word total? I'm not talking about other question. I'm just talking about this particular line. So since it's stated there as a total, then it is a population. Do you agree now or you still disagree?
I disagree. I don't want.
Then justify your answer. This is a discussion.
Yeah, I already said.
And did I not give you a response that is?
Yeah. I didn't. I don't.
Then what is the reason why you do not want to accept? Justify yourself. Don't
Because
just
one machine can. One machine only. One machine is also a number.
You
One
don't
machine.
accept other people's interpretation.
I'm also trying.
Okay, tell me, what is it?
One is.
From that
Ages of
L,
all.
tell me why is it not a population?
Because there's a possibility this is only picking from using the one machine out of 100 machine.
Correct, Kelvin. I agree. I do not disagree with you. But we're talking based on the sentence given.
Sentence.
The sentence of the question given. I'm not talking about assuming there are other machines.
Yeah, based on.
You agree or not? You still disagree with what I say?
Let me disagree. Whatever.
No, I would want to hear your justification because I've already rebut your justification, which I think I did say the correct matter.
You just said it's based on the sentence. You cannot assume there's other machines.
Correct. Why are you assuming other cases when we're focusing on the question?
Because there's
Because
there's really a
okay,
possibility
again,
there's other
the
machines.
word possibility, that is chapter 3 in the topic of probability. Here
Like
we're only talking about whether it's a population or a sample.
Yeah, because you just said you just assume it's impossible. There's other machines based on the sentence. So I cannot argue already. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm assuming there's other machine. I'm saying from this sentence there's only one machine. So that one machine, it has a total. The total of all that machine. But I'm interested to listen to your explanation, Noel. Examples of data to be collected, cost of first item, and cost of second item. Can you explain that, Noel?
like like statistic. They want to know the cost of the items in the machine. Yeah.
Okay, so the data, go on.
So basically, the L, they said they want to know the data of all items in a single machine. Uh,
Yes, all data. But we're not
So,
talking about the cost in this sense, though. Yes, Farah?
so meaning the probability is from the total of an item.
Yeah, but we're not talking about probability yet,
Total.
because in this discussion, we're only looking whether this statement, is it talking about a population or a sample? So,
One machine can have one number of a number of items produced, and then there's another machine that could produce another different number of items. And then
correct.
there's a third machine that could produce another number of items.
Correct. But in this sentence, we're talking about one machine. We do not care about other machine. Just like when we focus on Sabah, do we focus about Sarawak? No, we focus on Sabah alone. And in Sabah, the population is everybody, total of the population of Sabah. So that's why it's a population. So the machine is the state of Sabah, the total of the items produced from the machine is the population. But if you say
It's
in
just a
Sabah,
number, right? Isn't the total items just a number?
correct, it's
Just a
finite.
number. Just a
But
number
since it's just
things.
a number, it's the total, it's all, it's a population. If it says, okay, 20 items produced from a machine, do you say it's a sample or a population?
That's sample.
Correct.
But we can do another way also. Can a total items produced on 100 machines,
Correct, it's a sample.
then that's a sample. So what's the difference between 100 machine and then one machine?
Because here, when you change the question, you say 100 machine, then there is a number of sample already stated, which is 100.
Yeah.
Because there are other samples out, there's other machines out there. But I'm not talking about changing the question, Calvin.
No, because
My question is,
I don't see a difference between 100 machines and one machine.
our focus here is one machine. That's the difference. We do not focus on other machines, just one machine.
It's just one machine out of other machines. This
Correct.
out of one. It's like 100 farmers out of 1,000 farmers. It doesn't.
But Calvin,
I really-
I'm not talking about other states. I'm talking about Sabah only. I'm talking about one machine only. The question, not me talking, the question is focusing on one machine only. It's not focusing on other machine. Is that clear? Correct, Noel. I agree with you.
It's like if you say we focus on Sabah, but it's Sabah out of other states, doesn't that count? Isn't that Sabah just one sample out of the population all the states?
Yes, but I'm talking about Sabah only. Just like what Noel has written, it's about the production capability of a single machine. We talk for question L, it's talking about just one machine. It's not talking about other machine. So Noel got it already. Calvin, you're still thinking about outside. You're thinking too much outside the box. But what I'm asking you now, in terms of question L, it's inside a machine, one machine only.
If that it should just say all items, not total item. Total items, I assume, is just a number of items produced by one machine
Okay,
only.
what is your definition of total, Kelvin?
Total is just total number of items, so like that lah.
So what does it mean? Can
It
you
means-
use other words to explain total?
Number of items.
How many?
How many items produced by one machine?
No. If you say the number of items produced, total.
Mhm.
When you say the number of items, how many is the number of items when you say total? Normally, when you do a calculation, a simple accounting, when the question asks you to find the total, does it not you sum all the items?
Assume total items produced.
It's all, isn't
All
it?
total. All items produced.
From
just-
one
you just-
machine.
You just interchange total and total and all.
Exactly, that was what I've written. Sum is all. Isn't it the same in terms of English?
Really?
Huh?
Like that. Or like that.
Yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you, and you have been saying to me you disagree with my point of view. Do you?
Because the
that-
sentence is because the English in the sentence is really weird for me.
So you're blaming the English?
Yeah. If she says all items produced, I won't argue. The total, if she said total items
Okay,
produced,
now
yeah, I will just
final
total.
question.
I
Do
will
you
assume
accept or not? It's the population now.
If it's all items, I accept, not total.
So if the word total you don't accept,
Yeah, if it's all, I accept.
then I would have
It's
to
the-
ask a request from you.
It's a
Please
grammar.
Google what is the definition of total, and I hope you'll see the word all or some, or sometimes they might use the word everything to define total. Because just think about it. Whenever you do a simple accounting calculation, let's say a simple one, you do or you list out all the expenses that you have done for the day, don't you write total at the end of your simple accounting to total the sum, to total the whole value, which is all? Yes or not?
Total number of items. I don't know, the grammar is really weird for me. Total items,
Okay.
total number of items.
Kelvin,
Because, it's just a grammar problem for me.
correct. And to write English, it's not just one way. Just remember that. There are many ways to write any particular idea. There are many ways to write it. There are many words that are similar, which is, in conclusion, more or less the same meaning. So if you say you cannot accept the word total, then for you alone, Calvin, we'll change the word total to all.
I just assume myself. I just interchange the three words if I cannot fit.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was a good discussion. I hope you understand the difference between population and sample. Whoa, that simple idea already took us like 40 minutes. Anyhow, that was a good discussion as long as you will remember that for a long time. Okay, look at question number 9 now. Are you ready? Okay. Now, this time we want to identify whether they are quantitative or qualitative. Now, first of all, since you have gone through the question, which one are qualitative? Can you tell me?
The B.
B, that is correct. What else? Noel and Farah?
C.
Yes, C, marital status of people. We have talked about color and marital status. That is something qualitative. You cannot put numerical values to it unless you say, unless you state the number of times you marry. Then it will be quantitative. What else is qualitative?
H.
Yes, type of cars owned by families. Anything else?
J. K.
Correct. colors of the eyes, brand of coffee. Yeah. So all these, the ones in greens, are basically qualitative. Okay. So next we're going to look at quantitative. But in terms of quantitative, whether it's continuous or discrete. So I'm going to start with discrete. Discrete means the values are just how do you say, the variable we're talking about is a whole number. It doesn't talk about decimal places. So discrete, I can verify. The first one is the A, because number of people, you cannot say 1.7 people. Yeah. Okay. What else for discrete?
As long as the number, as long as need number, you just
Correct.
dispute that.
Correct. So which one?
Dispute. Ah, they're all the unticks one.
哈，no 了，没有我。
there's continuous also. Oh, right.
Which one? Noel? Which one is discrete?
Number of students, number of home.
Correct. Anything else?
No.
No.
That's all.
Correct. Yeah, those are the only discrete. And in terms of how do you say continuous, would be the length of a frog's jump. So check out the length. That would be continuous. Rent, that means the amount of money paid for the rent, that would be continuous. Monthly phone bills, again, that's concerning with cash, so definitely continuous. And salary, weekly earnings of employees would also be continuous. Yeah. So like I mentioned yesterday, I think I did mention in the exam, it would not ask like stating, or is it continuous, is it continuous, is it discrete, is it qualitative, just like the discussion we had today. Yeah, it doesn't ask straightforward questions like these. Yeah, it's just that how do you say, the understanding of this is important for you to be able to visualize the coming chapters. Yeah, the rest of the other chapters. Yeah, so let me give you guys a short break, like 5 minutes, and I would change. Let me give you guys a break, 5 minutes, and then for me to change the screen so that we'll go to the next tutorial number 2. Okay, 5 minutes break, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, has it been 5 minutes? Are we ready to discuss the solution?
Okay.
Okay, now this is tutorial 2, and basically what you see is the two tables, yeah, question number 1 and question number 2, and it shows, the first one shows the weekly sales of television sets in a department store in 1 year. And basically this question asking you to draw a histogram and a frequency polygon to illustrate the information. So what I want to show you is how it would be solved. Yeah, how to draw the histogram correctly and how is it drawn, the frequency polygon. So I've basically contacted the course coordinator with regards to graphs usage, and according to her, well, yeah, she said graphs will be used if there are questions asking you to do so. So that means she was not very direct. That means you need to know how to draw the graphs.
So can we-
However, I've been looking through the past year exam question. There is no no parts in the question asking to draw the graph. I can show it to you now. I have one sample.
can we
This
just
is
can we just roughly sketch instead of drawing on a graph paper?
if the question asks you to plot it, then you have to draw it accordingly, because for the diploma level, students are asked to draw very clearly on graph paper. Okay,
Can you
that is
program?
before MCO. But now you see this question is during MCO. It's called e-assessment. And I just want to show you an example of the question. Okay, this was 28th April 2020. That was last year. And you can see the first question here. It's stated there, same things, yeah, that you're going to learn next week especially. So please make sure you can come for the class next week. You can see compute the mean and standard deviation, calculate the median, and there's no part asking you to draw a graph. So even as we go to question number 2, nothing about drawing graphs. Question number 3, none also. I've been looking at past years and none of it asking you to draw on graph paper. More into calculating, doing a prediction, find the least square regression line, compute. Yeah. So I suspect there would not be any parts asking you to draw on graph paper. That is my suspicion. I assume so. But then again, I'm not the examiner for this semester, so I dare not say there's none. Yeah, it could be asked because it's in the syllabus. So what I can do is I can share with you how to solve questions such as this, like just in case there is a question asking you to draw a histogram, because there is a possibility, because we don't know what the examiner may ask. All of these are in the syllabus. Is that clear? Yes.
So in our tutorial, can we just sketch? No.
Oh yeah, tutorial, of course. I'm not asking you to submit the work. But of course, when you sketch, I hope you do put the correct values into your sketch, so that when I mark, I'll be able to, just in case there is question on the graph, I'll be able to give marks correctly. Yeah, again, I would like to mention, because last semester, I'm not talking directly about you guys, but I do receive some final exam paper very blurry. So if you do write your answers, make sure it's clear, because if it's blurry and I cannot see the answer, especially now you need to use a cam scanner to record your answer, right? And if I can't see, I cannot ask you, especially final exam, what is this, what is that you write, isn't it? So it may may not be a good thing for the students. Yeah, it may backfire on you if you submit a blurry work. Yeah, so do make sure your work submitted, because this semester again it's online method, so as expected it would be, e-assessment again. Well, anyhow, is there any other question before I share with you guys the solution, especially the one with the graph? Yeah.
Miss, if like
Yes.
do on a PC.
Like digital graph,
Yeah.
isn't it? I haven't. You mean the whole answer? You're going to type it, is it, Noel?
Yeah, draws on the PC.
Are you confident with that?
90%.
Meaning you're going to type, or you're going to use a pen, smart pen, to write your answer?
Because I don't have the graph paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did receive solution from student. They use a piece of like worksheet, and they use smart pen to write their answers. So it's still like writing on paper, but they write everything on the screen. So it's called a digital solution, I would believe. So it is accepted. There's no problem with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But the norm is to write it on a piece of paper. That was as expected. The expectation that students, once they receive the question, they write just like what we've done before. Just write it on a piece of paper and scan it and then submit in the Google Classroom. All right. So if there's no more question, Farah, any question from you?
No question.
So far, okay, Farah. And then Kelvin, any question from you?
No.
No. And Noel, is that it? Any more question from you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So if no more question, let us see the solution for the first question. Now, the question asks us to draw a histogram. And before we can do the histogram, we definitely need to identify the class limit, just like what was given. It's 5 to 13, 14 to 22. Let me get some sort of like a pen here. Red color would be nice.
Do we?
Yeah.
We need to start with 0.
Huh?
We need to start with 0 in the table.
Oh, yeah, because how to say, because when we draw the frequency polygon, let me make it smaller. You need to show starting from the midpoint here. You see that? That's why it's the 0 is from here. Okay, because all this value are the frequency actually. So because you see there is a gap 13 to 14, isn't it? So because of that, the value 13, the next line is 14. That's why we need to use the gap 4.5 and 13.5. So the 4.5 is from here. The 13.5 is here. So I'm using my PC to do the writing now. So that's why it's a bit messy in class. So sorry about that. But I hope you understand why is it 4.5 here and 13.5, 22.5, 31.5, and so forth. Okay, so you can see it goes all the way to 54, which is also a 0.
When we,
So
when we
yeah,
when we draw on the paper, can we just agak-agak sketch if the spacing not even not so even, do we dilama?
of course, because first of all, you need, if the question asks you to draw some sort like a histogram or frequency polygon, right? The expectation is you must draw on graph paper.
Oh,
But in case you don't have a graph paper, it is possible for you to get it online, isn't it? Graph paper, and
oh,
just download it and then print it.
so you can we just use the uh insert?
Yeah, You can insert, like you use I love PDF, insert from what you have scanned and insert that one piece of merge it, the one piece of graph paper that you get online,
not,
draw it.
not using graph paper. I mean just using the word. Use in the word we use the program to insert the graph.
Oh, like you already, or use the program to draw it, and then whatever you
Label
work, you insert into your work, is it?
yeah. So we don't. So we didn't. So we don't use the graph paper.
Oh, okay, Canva, no problem. But during MCO, I have a strong feeling you will not be asked to draw a graph. I have a strong feeling because,
Just in case.
yeah, just in case. That's why my concern is that. So that's why I want everybody to know how to draw it correctly. Yeah, and please pay attention. The class boundaries, I hope you know how to get it. Do you? Everybody clear about the class boundary? I explained it to you yesterday. The midpoint also, I hope you know how we get the 9, because 13.5 minus 4.5. And of course, the frequency is the value given. Yeah. And one key point concerning with your histogram is that you can see on the y-axis, it's labeled as number of weeks, or you can also label simply as an F to state for frequency. Now notice the title, histogram shows the weekly sales of television sets. So that means it's important to state what is your variable. And of course, you need to label the x-axis as number of sets sold per week. That is your variable. Yeah. And when you draw your histogram, make sure there is no gap. I mean, the bars are adjacent to each other. And you can see here, it's all shaded, isn't it? But in your answer, you do not need to shade. Just leave it blank as it is, because we don't want students spending time doing the shading to it. And then the frequency polygon is simply based from the histogram, just taking the midpoint. That's why we need the midpoint here in order for you to have the frequency polygon drawn correctly. But a lot of students, if the questions ask both the histogram and the frequency polygon, you can do it directly on the same graph, no problem, like this one. But some students still, ada yang rajin, they would do another one like this. Yeah, so I hope you know how to get the height of the bar. Yeah, like 13.5 to 22.5, you can see here is 18, sorry, that's the midpoint, it's 19. So that's why you see the height here is 19. The next one is 23, and so forth. Is that clear? Any question concerning with the drawing of the histogram and the frequency polygon? Hello?
Okay.
Okay, okay, yeah.
No
So,
question.
yeah. So what is important, again, the title. Normally this is given as 1 mark. This one is half mark only, labeling of it. Same thing with the x-axis, but sometimes 1 mark, and here another 2 marks, the overall drawing of it. That's the standard marking for graph in Thai you see. But like I said, it could be this time the graph you are not asked to draw. It might be the graph is already prepared for you and you have to read from the graph. Meaning, say from the graph given to you, you have to create the frequency distribution table. So it could be the vice versa. Because normally we construct the frequency distribution table and then we get the histogram, yeah? So it could be this time the histogram is drawn for you and you have to get the frequency distribution table correctly. All right? So I hope that is clear and I hope it makes sense for you as well. Farah, are you following okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I hope you understood in that question. The second question is slightly different because there is adjusted frequency. Remember, we have to do adjusted frequency, especially when the size are not the same. Like here we have 20, 20, and then we also have 35, 35. Well, 25 is on its own, 10 is on its own, and 50 is also on its own. Yeah. So for this case, therefore, you can see 62 is the same, 88 is the same. That means we're using 20 as the standard value. Yeah. Even though 35 got two of them, but since 20 is the one, the first one stated here, so we take 20 as the common class size. Yeah. So that's why 62 and 88 is the same value. But you see here, the width is 35. Therefore, 20, which is the common class size, you times with 70 the frequency and divide by 35. Therefore, we have a new height, which is 40. Same thing for the 25 here. Do the same calculation in terms of the formula that was shared with you guys yesterday concerning with the adjusted. So remember, the common class size is 20. This is the common class size, 20. You times with the frequency. So that's why here you times with 35, which is, sorry, the class size pula. No, the frequency. You times with the frequency. And then down here is the class size. The formula. Sorry with my handwriting. I'm using my mouse to write now, so it's a bit messy. So this is the formula for the adjusted frequency. And once you get all the values here, 62, 40, 88, 100, 112, 60, and 12, then we draw the histogram. It's a bit big, so let me make it smaller, which is the histogram of the length of stay of each car at the city park. So take note, it's not frequency anymore, it's standard frequency written on the y-axis. The x-axis is the length of stay in minutes. And notice that the one that is the same size, which is the common size, is this. But you can see that the other length, for instance, like these, they double the size. Some is even 2.3 times. Yeah, some is smaller and some is slightly bigger. So it's more wider, but the height is lesser. But because by right, it should be up to 125, especially for this one, isn't it? But because it's adjusted, it's only up to 100. Yeah, so that's why this is the drawing of the adjusted frequency, the histogram of the adjusted frequency, or we also call it as a standard frequency. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, there's a lot more interesting questions which we should be doing. And as what I've shown in the past year exam question just now, we cannot do any of the past year at the moment because most of the past year is after we've completed chapter 2. Yeah. So that's why the discussion for this week is purely on the drawing of the histogram. I didn't ask the other question that has the cumulative frequency diagram because the questions are together with some parts in chapter 2. So I didn't dare to ask you to do that yet. We'll do it next week so that you understand the question thoroughly lah. I mean, be ready for the final exam. And also, of course, your assignments and tests. Yeah. So I think, yeah, any question, class? Anything you'd like to raise up?
So far, no.
Clear. Huh? How about you, Calvin?
No.
Clear. Huh? How about you, Farah?
No.
Okay. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope, yes.
Do we need to draw the arrow of the
Which,
axis?
oh, you mean like here got arrow like
Ah, yeah.
that? Yeah. Normally, yes, we normally do that, kan? But it's not really, how do you say?
Requirement.
No, but no, the norm is most marking scheme before MCO, I see, yeah, they do have the arrow. But I tell you honestly, I haven't seen any questions asking students to draw the graph ever since MCO started, which means it has been almost a year now. Most of the questions do not ask any students to draw the graph. But there's always a but. Um, some examiners, when we had meetings, they would say, "Oh, MCO students are so used to online already. It's okay to ask them to draw graphs." Yeah, but some examiner goes on saying, "Oh, they do not agree graph to be asked for students to draw because we are not doing face to face, and the level of students knowing how to draw the graph are different when students are with so many different backgrounds in schools, the teachers' methods. So that's why some lecturers, they do not opt for graphs. They do not want student to go through that uncertainty. Yeah. So
Oh.
I have a feeling there is no question on graph. But then again, it's unpredictable, everyone. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So hopefully there's none. That's what I want, because I don't think because normally when I have this session with students, I would sit down with them, draw the drawing of the histogram. Like I can see your drawing. I ask students to draw it themselves. Yeah. So I can guide students in that sense, but because we are online, it's very difficult, and I don't know whether you have a stock of graph paper. Normally, I give copies of graph paper for students to draw on. So because of that, it's unfair lah. And yeah, so yeah, I think I hope lah there's no graph paper to be asked to be drawn. Any other question, please?
No.
No.
Yeah, that was Farah, Noel, Calvin. Okay or not, Calvin?
Okay.
Okay, I hope you're not thinking about the population and sample anymore. You are
The
clear
grammar's
about
so
it.
the grammar's so bad.
Calvin, do you read a lot of books or not?
I read a lot of books. Yes,
What books do you read?
novels.
Oh, what novels do you read?
Mostly Chinese, Korean, and Japanese.
Then how are you going to improve your English if you're reading the Korean Chinese one?
They translate it into English.
Oh, so you read the English one.
They just go. They just translate into English. So I read.
That translation are very fuzzy and very incorrect, sometimes. Like when you watch drama, but the Korean drama, I noticed the translation are very good and they use good English also. Well, reading is good. I'm glad you are reading. That's why I noticed all three of you, your English are very good. Anyhow, there's nothing else I want to share with you guys, except for this past year. As you can see, the past year are not difficult to do. What do you think? You see question 1, you can see the word poison here. Awal, question 1, the poison. Question number 2, probability mainly. Yeah, this one is the binomial question. This is a normal question. You can see normally distributed. Here you have the estimation confidence interval with a standard error of 8 plus minus %. Again, a confidence interval question. This is level of significance. That means it's a hypothesis question. And same thing here. It has significantly increased. It's also a hypothesis question. And question 4 is the product moment correlation coefficient. We have the least square regression line, doing a bit of prediction and some Spearmans. And this one is the arrangement, like permutation and combination. So you can see the question in your final exam covers all the chapters that we are to do. So I ask of you, there's only 3 of you, join my class and understand it fully. Yeah, so that you have no problems to do this question. And just to share with you, this topic is covered by the business degree students in the first semester, that was in May. When you were doing the discrete maths, the business students were doing this same syllabus, except that they don't do the hypothesis testing, I think. They do. They have additional. They do what we call as the chi-squared. You guys don't have to do the chi-squared. Let me think. I think you guys also have to do chi-squared. I have to double check the notes again. But in all honesty, this subject is not difficult to score. It's just that you have to put extra work in the calculation. And as you can see, the question is so different from discrete maths. Discrete maths are just number structures, not essay-like question as what you see here now. Do you see that? It's essay-like. It's like a lot of story for you to read, isn't it? Kan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So please pay attention. It's a lot more easier. The understanding of the concept is easier for probability and statistic compared to DMS. But then it depends on students. Some students, they favor DMS, the discrete mathematics. Yeah. But some prefer probability and statistics. Depend on the individual. Some students, they are good in both. So what is important is to practice. All right. So Calvin, I remember you say you did all the question in tutorial 1. Is there any parts there that you are unsure of the answer? But all the definition can be obtained, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
For the tutorial 1, yeah?
Mm.
Yeah, so if you're okay with it, then because it's more on definition, and there's no definition question will be asked in the finals. That is. Well, I think that's all for today, unless you guys have any question for me.
Yeah, no question.
No question. Farah also okay? No question?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, please go through the notes, okay, Farah. Go through the online. I've already uploaded it, especially for you. Okay, so please go
Yeah,
through.
the recording, right?
Yes, go through, and then if you have any question, please make sure you ask me, since we are in contact in WhatsApp. Kelvin, do you have any question, Kelvin? No?
No.
Okay, it was a good discussion today, so I'll see you guys on Monday next week, if nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.